Welcome to the Everyday Awesome Project, where we bring you inspirational stories and game-changing strategies to live your most awesome life.
Hey, superstars, welcome back. Polly here. And Sam Pruitt. What's up, beautiful humans?
Hey, you guys, I love our topic today. I will kick it off by giving you the title because this is pretty much a big part of your life right now, for sure. Has been for a long time, and mine as well.
Yep.
Get fit. There's no wrong way. Get fit. There's no wrong way. So I
There's
know
no wrong
we
way.
have so much to share about this. And like you said before we clicked record is like the stories we could tell. So
Oh
so
my
kick us off,
gosh.
my dear. What do we want to start with here?
Yeah. So when we say there's no wrong way, what we mean is what you do, how you do it,
Mm,
where you do it, how much of it you do is up to you, the person, the individual,
mm,
in the individual body and mind and brain and life that they own,
mm,
right? So I think what we really want to impart today in our conversation, and yeah, we have a bunch of crazy stories, is that the human listening right now who tuned into this, the brave soul, the brave, awesome human, they're building themselves. Fitness is
mm.
about building you. So when you
Wow.
think about a fitness program, it's not about other people. It's
Mm,
about the individual. And so really what we want to deliver, the key message, and we'll come up with all kinds of ways that they can go about doing that. But again, it's their journey.
mm, mm.
So yeah, there's no wrong way. There's no one way. There's no right way. Ooh, I hate that actually.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I want to set the stage. Like you said, building you. It's like a relationship with
Yes.
your fitness. It's a relationship
Yes.
you create with yourself,
Yeah.
answerable to no one. Thank you very much. No fucks
Exactly.
given, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
No, nobody else is telling you what fitness needs to look like. Although we do start off life with some external cues and
Hmm.
programming. And I would say because we have billions of dollars being fed into marketing in the diet and fitness world, there's a lot that penetrates our outer environment of what fitness should be, could be, ought to be, the shoulda, woulda, type of mentality. And you and I are here to like crack through and bust open all of those paradigms, societal norms or whatever. It's like shut that out
Yep.
and tune into you. So let's hear it, my dear. What do we want
Yeah.
to?
And
Yeah,
that can be challenging for a human like me who's been in this professionally for now 25 years in
yeah,
some way, shape, or form since I first found fitness in my late 20s and approaching 30, right?
yeah,
So it might sound a little ludicrous coming from a coach like me who's been in the space, right?
yeah.
But that's actually further educated me and
Mm,
opened my own eyes to the human in front of me and what is different and unique and possible for them. And
mm.
then myself as well, giving myself that permission too to explore and be different. So, yeah, let's get into it a little bit
And
and sort
and
of,
just to set the stage, so Samantha Pruitt, if you guys don't know what she's saying in her career or part of her life, and you've had many lives and many careers, I know, but
I'm
is
like a cat, nine
yeah,
lives.
yes. It's definitely you've been a trainer, I mean,
Yep.
the amount, like I'm like, if I want to know anything about nutrition, for whatever, I'm like, Samantha, it's like my personal Wikipedia. I just ping you and you're like, oh yeah, blah, 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 know about this, right? So like you consume so much massive information and you are a peak elite athlete. You're an endurance runner athlete. You have been, I mean, if you were watching this, not just listening to this, Samantha is sitting in her office with a stack, just piles of medals that just show the miles and the experience, right? And you are in the middle, as we record this, of your journey through yet another Ironman, like full
Yeah.
Ironman. So
Iron Woman 2.0.
Iron Woman. Yeah. So I just wanted to set that context of, the arc of your journey, my journey looks a little different and stuff like that, but it's a journey, it's an evolution, I want to say. And that's really,
Yes.
what we're imparting here is this
Yes.
it's not us standing on a pedestal like this is what you need to do or whatever, but it's inviting people into a conversation to have a new relationship as we have and evolved now in our 50s. What is fitness for us? And employ with you listening to try on some different things, right?
Yeah. So we should journey back just for a hot second, each of us, and tell our journey, our story a little bit. So my first um, intro, appetizer, if you will, into the word fitness and the world of fitness was around sixth, seventh grade, entering into junior high. I was chubby. I had a very bad perm. Okay. And all of
Raise
you
your
had
hand who
bad
had bad
perms
perms.
at
Yeah.
some point. Okay. Even you dudes
Yeah.
had bad perms. I know you did, if
The
you're in
days
my
of
age
perming,
bracket.
right?
Oh, so chubby bad perm, hanging out with some friends, and in particular, I was caretaken, if you will, by another family, and they became like aunts and uncles and cousins, and lots was going on in my family. So I was pseudo adopted into this family. Anyway, the mother of that family started a group of all of us young gals in the same age bracket who were, you know, chubby, and she called us the Chubby Club. So we literally belonged to what we called, jokingly, but not, the Chubby Club. And so the irony of that is, we would do these daily TV exercises, Richard Simmons and Jane Fonda and the likes. So we do these things, jazzercise and whatever it all was, in the living room of this house,
Wow.
watching these TV tapes. Yes, they were tapes at that time.
Wow.
And then the rest of the day, we would be eating ho-hos and Twinkies and junk food and whatever the hell we wanted. We didn't even connect that what we put in our mouth was, shaping or not shaping the health of this body.
Yeah.
But we were also labeled in this way as like the Chubby Club. This was a thing, and this is how we were going to get unchubby. It was so bizarre. What bizarre messages to be
Yeah.
experiencing
Yeah.
at that really critical development stage of my life.
Yeah.
So that was a thing.
Yeah.
And okay, so I didn't really like exercise, right? Because it wasn't making sense. Of course, my body wasn't changing. I didn't feel better. I was eating junk, right? None of this was working.
Right. Right.
I
You're
mean,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, those dolphin shorts and the leggings, and I mean, none of this was working. None of this was working.
I
So then
love it.
comes along junior high, right? And that at that point, I became more like socially connected to other females and the male species in the school system and all that kind of stuff, and realized, hey, the people that look good, which I thought that was what I was aspiring to do here, is to look better, right? Those people are athletes. They're skinny, they're athletic, they have different bodies, different shapes. I want to look like that because those are the ones that have the boyfriends and, are doing the cheerleading or the sports or whatever. They're the popular kids, if you will, right?
Yeah.
So then the pendulum slowly swung the other way, junior high and then into high school, around, disordered eating and starvation and doing all these other radical things to try and get skinny. Again, not fit, not healthy, but skinny, because society was showing me that that's where the rewards were, right? And again, I wasn't being educated, or I wasn't in an environment that I was being told anything different than that, or mentored or shown in any way that that was different, right?
Yeah.
So that was a little bit of my experience. And then some really unhealthy things happened into adulthood, young adulthood. And then I did find a little bit of fitness at the end of high school, where I walked onto, and everybody got on, a volleyball team for girls. And we started actually doing some physical activity beyond PE. Nobody did PE. We just pretended we did it. I mean, we weren't doing PE. Nobody was running those laps around the buildings. No. But anyway, so that was my first experience into like sports and what that might feel like. And that felt great, except, it wasn't really supported. So we didn't do very well and whatever. But at least there was an intro there. And then came adulthood. And then all of these dysfunctional patterns and beliefs just kept following me, right? The cycle was never broken. So I went through cycles of overeating, undereating, over exercising, under exercising. Like I was never doing these things in this giant fitness bucket, if you will, or healthy lifestyle bucket, for the sake of me. To actually understand that the physical activity I would or would not do, the nutritional aspects, the mindset, activities, that wouldn't affect my fitness, would it?
Can
Of
I
course it would.
click on something here just for a second? So
Yeah.
our tagline is how your life feels is more important than how it looks. And as you're saying this, it's screaming in the back of my ear. So I just want to say it is like you were living for how your body looked,
Hmm.
not how you felt in your body.
Yes. And
Right?
actually, I personally felt trapped in my body and in my
Mm.
brain.
Mm.
Like I had a lot of dysfunctional mental stuff when I was young also, and especially in that like high school
Mm.
age. I mean, I ended up
We all
living,
do. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I
lots
mean,
of poor decisions and crazy things were going on, but
yeah.
nothing made sense. Like I didn't have it
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
understanding that if I did certain behaviors, they would make me feel better or worse. I didn't actually see a correlation, which is kind of bizarre, but we weren't taught anything different.
Well, and no big harm to our parents because they
Mhm.
didn't know either.
But the
Like
school systems,
like
no education.
mental health has only appeared, let's say, on the horizon of popular culture or popular psychology. I was just watching something Oprah had presented that all the years she did 25 years of the Oprah show, right?
Oh, yeah.
And she talks
Mhm.
about how she got her therapy from being on the Oprah show, like being, right in front of the audience, like ding, like aha moments in front of whatever, right? And
Wow.
you could see her journey, whatever. And she's like, there was no therapy back then. No, and if anybody was in it, they sure as hell didn't talk about it, right?
Right.
Like it was like taboo or whatever. So what we're talking
Mhm.
about is the generation and the time period that you and I grew up in. It was not understood well. The parents didn't know about it. People weren't educated. There wasn't an understanding. We're still just now understanding. I mean, the amount of that we don't understand about how our brains and systems and emotions completely work. I mean, neuroscience is you know, expanding area. Yeah, so this was like us bumping around in life with carrying trauma, building more trauma, trying to figure it out, if you will, right? So,
And the link between the physical body's health
hmm,
and the mental and emotional body's health,
yeah.
as if they were two separate units.
I had no idea. None of this. None of it. Like I remember my wake up moment. Yeah, I
We
mean, we'll
laugh
get to
because it's
that.
so ludicrous.
Oh yeah. So keep going. Okay.
So, just on my journey, obviously, and then into adulthood, I did discover running at one point, and it's because I had had a baby. I got married young, I had a baby, and I wanted to lose the baby weight. I gained a lot of weight during the baby and had some health problems. Shocker. And then came out of that, couldn't lose the weight. So I found jogging, got the whole baby jogger movement was all happening, whatever.
Yeah.
It was horrible, by the way. It hurt and I hated it. But I discovered it nonetheless as a tool, but yet that was still a tool I was trying to utilize to lose weight.
Yeah.
Again, still not making the connection between everything else and that fitness tool, if you will.
Yeah. This was not done for emotional health,
No.
well-being reasons. It was like lose weight, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Get back into that beach body. I never had a beach body, but that whole like concept is completely ludicrous. And then fast forward, divorced, remarried, life, jobs, moving, etc., etc. And I just went on this cycle continuously, up and down, not just weight, but also, disordered eating, mental and emotional disruption, all the chaos that rains down. Sometimes for some people, I was one of them.
I'm like, you seem so, like you've come so far to hear this story, even knowing you like I do. I'm just like, like, like the arc that you've been on, the groundedness, the diplomat,
Mm,
the compassionate, the connected woman I know you to be now. I mean, like connected to yourself, to others, to like, I mean, you're a still water inside, right? Things
mm.
can bounce around and whatever, but to know you and to hear this, I'm just like, wow, you've done so much beautiful work on yourself to get to this point. It's just amazing. So love it. Keep
It
going.
has been a journey worth every bit of it, no doubt about it, but it has been a journey. And that's part of our message too, right? Like we are so worth doing this work.
Yeah, double click on that. Yeah.
So, health crisis in my late 20s, developed autoimmune disease. Again, my weight was up. I was 50 pounds heavier than I am at this moment. And so, in trying to heal that illness that went undiagnosed for several years and all the stuff that came with that, I went back to school, studied holistic health, became a coach and a trainer. And in that journey of just for the first time in my life at 30, learning about how this body works, this human body, how this brain works, this human brain,
Yeah.
learning what is possible, leaving the Western medicine and all of its limitations that they kept opposing on me, leaving those and walking into myself, my own life, and taking real ownership and control back, if you will, around how this was going to go, how my life journey and my physical and mental health journey would go. That was the real, catalyst for me, was making that decision, making those choices. I rediscovered exercise, and of course it started pretty ugly and bumpy, and it was not enjoyable and chaos. I mean, seriously, it was so not pretty. You're overweight, you don't feel good, everything hurts, you don't even know what you're doing, you don't know why you're doing it, all of that kind of stuff. And I was slowly learning those things step by step. And so found fitness again, worked my way into a YMCA, got on the treadmill, slowly discovered running. And then lo and behold, I found for myself that fitness was a key element to building not just my physical, mental, and emotional life, but my whole life. So I literally quit my job. We ended up moving. I mean, I changed everything about the way I operated in the world. And fitness was at the foundation of all of that. Of course, nutrition and all these other modalities as well. But like fitness has been with me since then. And it really, I couldn't go a day without it. I think that that's just how humans were meant to evolve now, and how I understand the brain and the body to work. Found running, found triathlon, as you know, eventually worked my way from zero to Iron Woman the first time 13 years ago. And now I'm on my Iron Woman 2.0 journey at age 55. But in there found ultra running, found all kinds of sports, CrossFit, everything. I've tried it all because I'm so curious. And I want to continue on the path of discovering. And it's one of the ways that, you and I have connected, and we've built communities and all of that around fitness being kind of at the core of who we are as humans.
Yeah. And I want to just add that I don't want people to put you out on some sort of a pedestal. Like this is, you are a average Jill, if you will. Like
100%.
You are just as human, like your
Oh,
bones
my
break.
genetics are horrible. Okay. I mean, I got nothing. Both my parents are deceased. Everybody died early of heart attacks and cancer. Like the whole thing is not good, people. We are just average women in the world choosing to do it differently.
Be extraordinary. Be extraordinary. And the other thing I wanted to just point out is like the path that I hear is how much you self-educated. It was like when we put our power in someone else to tell us or guide us, and I remember my aunt and uncle years ago, they're a bit older than I am, going into doctors, and they would just like go to the doctor, and whatever the doctor said, they would like, that's it. This is Western medicine, if you will. And I was like, and have you educated yourself? Like rheumatoid arthritis. My aunt has really bad rheumatoid arthritis for many years, right? And just never educated beyond the scope of what you go into a doctor, like, hey, this is what I've got. And their capabilities is the limit of her exposure to a cure, a possible solution, right? And you were like, I'm not stopping until I understand myself, the situation. Like you and I are so focused on root problem solving, let's call it. That's not even the right word, but it's like if something is out of alignment in the body, the emotional, the mental, we don't just like, cover that up or settle for that or whatever, because we've both seen how in our lives it festers, it manifests, it pumps out somewhere else. If it's like, oh yeah, don't look at that thing, or I don't need to deal with that trauma, capital T, whatever. Oh yeah, you will.
Oh yeah, you will. Oh
Right.
yeah, she will come a knocking.
Yeah. And it's not to say, so the other thing I want to just point out is your journey did go, oh, I'm going to stop working and take this on as full time, right? There is a path for everyone that is somewhere in between. We're not saying stop doing, if you're a bookkeeper, if you're, whatever you do in the world, you don't have to stop doing that to care about yourself. So I just want to make sure all of this is accessible, and it's it's just a few steps away from you, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And basically, the reason I had to quit what I was doing, of course, I went back and was ending up doing a different job, but there was so much about that work environment
Yeah.
and the commute
Yeah.
and the lifestyle,
Yeah.
lack of sleep, that went with it, the alcohol. Like there was so much about the lifestyle that went with that career path that was not serving me. I
Yeah.
had to say no.
Yeah.
I'm going to choose a different route. I
Yeah.
might make less money. Of course I did. I might not know what the hell I'm doing. I like it's not going to be this is transition is going to be hard, but I'm worth it.
Mm.
And I took the risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Hells yeah. And the
The risk.
benefit is far exceeded, you know.
Oh yeah.
Continue. Yeah. Could you imagine where you'd be if you continued on that path? Like,
Well,
gonna stay in this life and, you know, make some good money,
so
but it's gonna suffer.
unfortunately, I believed at that time, based on what I was experiencing mentally and physically, that I wouldn't be here.
Right.
That that's was going to be the end of that, and I was on the beginning of the end
Yeah.
towards that trajectory.
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
will catch
literally,
up
when
to
you
you.
can't get out of bed and you can't function, it's the
Yeah.
beginning of the end, right? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
knew what that was going to look like, and I chose no.
Got the wake up call.
So
Yeah.
that's how I found fitness. And now I love fitness. I mean, I don't love it every day. The workout I
Yeah.
did today was horrible, by the way. It was very hard.
Wow.
It's 100 degrees here. I'm doing a bike run brick in 100 degrees, and I'm starting at 6 in the morning. It's not like I'm starting at noon or something. It was challenging. However, I'm committed to it and I still enjoyed it, believe it or not,
Yeah.
because that's who I am at my core now. It's part of what makes me tick mentally and physically. And
Yeah.
the rewards are a thousandfold.
Totally.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
I'm all in.
two things I wanted to say on what you just shared is, you know, one, you know, I can remember coaching people, or when I first started the working out in the morning, you know, I shifted from an after work workout person into the morning. Girl, I would not have said I was a morning person. I was like, I'm the farthest thing, you know, rolled out of college, you know, like how many classes can I put into the afternoon, you know, like whatever. And then you've got this
Because you
job
had
that,
to go to parties in the
oh yeah,
nighttime. So you had to
I
sleep
was,
in.
I would have said I was a night owl back then, right? But I shifted some things, and there was a transition, right? To become
Mhm.
this, like you said, it's bumpy and messy and it's whatever, like to become a morning person. Now, self-proclaimed, like I love being a morning person. I reprogrammed, redesigned my life. I found the benefit, not in the beginning, but over time, right? And you with exercise and fitness and finding those what works for you. The other thing I want, so I just want to say, like that little piece of work is wherever you are in your fitness journey, know that it there's a transition too
Yeah.
from where you've been to where you are. It's going to be messy, you know, whatever, and then it gets better, right? So the other thing is something I've noticed, and we've talked about this, is you know, there's some amazing female athletes, and I'm not going to name them all because the list would be all day would be here, but two jump out at me just that I've watched their journey recently. The Olympics were not that long ago since we were recording this, and this summer, was it? I think it was this summer. Courtney Dahlwater, if you don't know this woman, please look her up. If you want a little bit of like, holy fuck inspiration, what this woman has done. She completed some very challenging long distance races, whatnot. And if you hear her talk, if you ever hear her interviewed, the girl has the most big heart. She enjoys running. Like she does it, yeah, it's hard. She talks about digging a hole in the pain cave. She know like it's hard. Running
Yep.
the kind of mileage and the speed with which she does is hard, but she's happy. Or she, like the overall thing is she's found a love for the sport, right? Simone Biles, who just, you know, just crushed it in the Olympics this year, Olympic gymnast, if you haven't seen her, another amazing human being. When I see her talk in her interviews, again, a love of what she's doing. Does that girl spend a lot of freaking time in a leotard and jumping around and bouncing on, you know, all kinds of bars and things? Yes, it's been a damn hard, dedicated journey, but she has such a big smile from her heart of what she's doing. And these women stand so far ahead of the people that are right behind them. Let's say, like the nearest person, man or woman. You know, Courtney has exceeded some men in the field, right?
Oh
And
yes.
I would say, you know, I've watched documentaries of how, in the 80s and 90s when you and I were, let's say, going through some sport or high school or whatever, the days of, Nadia Comaneci, where it was like, it was like very militant and work
Mhm.
hard and not enjoy it and starve yourself and, all this stuff. So where these women are achieving things beyond what in that time period would have been even thought about. Because I think there's this when it feels good for you, or you can turn it into a passion that you can get on board with. Maybe not every minute, but like you've turned this work that you're doing into, yeah, it's freaking hard, like 100-degree weather, but I'm loving the journey. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Courtney Duval is definitely the best ultra runner female ultra runner of all times.
Yeah.
But she is overall, yeah, these are legend athletes. And when we think of fitness, they have decided to pick a sport and dedicate their life to becoming elite,
Mhm.
professional, and taking it as far as they can take it. When we talk about fitness, that's one way of pursuing
Yeah.
fitness. And there's so many different ways. I know your path was quite different than mine. I mean, you actually played sports and I mean, you were definitely raised, or not raised, you experienced in your journey into womanhood that athletics could be a normal part of it, correct?
Yeah. Well, I'll just say a couple things. So the amount of time my mom has spent in fitness is a big fat goose egg. Like, never, that woman would never claim to be or want to be in anything having to do with fitness, which just how I became so much in love with fitness. I don't know. My dad was a tennis, whatever, but that really didn't, at the time I was around in his life, there was no fitness. There was
Okay.
none of that. So it wasn't an influence from my family by any means. I'm even, I started my journey. So I played volleyball for 25 years, right? And it started at 14. And I can't even remember how I found it. I was like,
Oh.
oh, like you were so clear, like, oh,
Mhm.
whatever. But I don't even remember the initial, like, did I see a sign at the gym, like volleyball team tryouts or something? I don't even quite remember. But then it was like, I found something I freaking love. Like volleyball
Mhm.
became my life. I mean, it was, I was like, okay, who else can I play? What other teams? Like it was everything to me for a long, long, long time. And then it's not. And then I was like, and then I
But
did
what a
so
key part of your development. And
for
so if you think about
teams,
these,
being on teams
unreal.
succeeding and winning and enjoying each other and celebrating and losing and working out together and like if
So
I ever
good.
had children, it would be like, you must pick some sport to try it, like
Yes.
to get
Yes.
get that experience. Now, I do remember my intro to running. So this is a little bit, I think, of a funny story. So I was in college. So I remember and there was a class in college where it was like a PE class or something like that, right? And I love the gal who led the class. God bless her. She was amazing. You have to run a mile in 12 minutes. I had never run that far. Not even close. Like I said, no fitness in my growing up or whatever. And volleyball, there wasn't. So I was like, oh, I have to run a mile in 12 minutes.
How far is a mile?
Yeah, it was 4 laps around the track
Yeah,
kind of thing. Oh my,
exactly.
yeah, it was like crazy. I remember that being so damn hard,
Ah,
so hard. Anyway,
painful,
but
brutal.
fast forward about 2 years
Timed
later.
miles,
Yeah, fast forward about
please.
2 years later, I was had a close friend who was into running. She used to like run around, whatever, and I was like, it's really strange you all this running. It just seems strange to me. I was like, good for you, but okay, I'm not. And then so we lived in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, and there was a race that I'd heard about. And she was like, I'm going to do this thing called beta breakers.
Oh,
Okay, this
yeah.
was long, long time ago. This was not been around for very long, beta breakers. And I was like, oh, what is that? And she told me about it. It's about 10K and there's live music and it's really fun. And I was like,
Through
I'll
the
do that.
streets of San Francisco.
She's like, oh yeah, we're gonna make little outfits and signs. I was like, oh yeah, wait a minute. That's starting to sound exciting to me.
Costumes?
Yeah.
I'm in.
I know, you know me, right? So the night before, we had so much fun. We were making little signs and costume, like little. I think we made shirts. I think we made shirts with our little team thing or whatever. There's like three or four. I can't, whatever. I did that race for like 10 years. It was just
Oh,
a blast.
nice.
And that was my entree. And then I did another, and the rest, I could go into the whole story, but
Yeah.
and and then volleyball dimmed in my life, right?
Mhm.
Running took more, and like you said, like other things. And I've evolved. We've done adventure races, a little bit of triathlon and tweaking.
Spartan. Hmm.
Spartan was a great, my
Yeah.
40s. That was amazing.
Exactly, exactly. So your fitness evolved like it should.
Mm.
Our life has seasons. I mean, even throughout the year, my fitness changes. I go to a CrossFit gym kind of part of the season, and then I make sure I work on my foundational strength and mobility, and then I get into whatever my race is for the year. Not that I pendulum completely away and back and forth, but I integrate those things. But like it's seasonal. I'm 55 now. I am going to be doing things a little differently than I did at 35 or
Yeah.
25 or whatever.
I just want to make a funny comment that I've only become aware of like in the last, I would even say 6 months, right? I'm just, I'm in my 50s like you. And I think about how many years and how much energy over the arc of my life since I was a developing woman, young girl, and how important it seemed that I had a beach body, right?
Mm,
Or this thing that we're sold kind of like a beach body, a bikini body or whatever. And a lot of the ways that I think they shame women into gym and fitness or whatever is like,
mhm.
how do you look? And the
Six
six pack
pack,
abs and all this stuff, right? Well, I
big
like,
butt, six pack.
and how many years I've thought about it, been aware of it, not thinking about it, not caring about it, whatever. And I was like,
Mm.
how many days of my life, the thousands of days of my life, have I been in a fucking bikini? I was like, I think I could list it on, my fingers and toes. I don't live
Exactly.
near the beach. I don't love the beach, whatever. I was like, and I spent how many years caring about how I looked in a
Yeah,
bikini? I was like, oh my God, what
exactly.
what a suck, right? And yeah, so the relationship to all of that now is like, And you and I've talked about how it's our feeling, right? Like,
Exactly. Exactly. Well, two things I want to say about that. I'm just laughing about the bikini thing. I'm sorry. Um, it's getting back in touch with how you feel in your body, which is a reoccurring theme of what we're talking about, right? Is like the individual body that you own, how it functions, how it maybe doesn't function, how it can perform, how does it feel rather than how it looks, all of those kind of things. But additionally, if we think about trying to fit somebody else's idea of how we should appear or how we should perform, either one of those, it's completely ludicrous, but yet that's how we do spend a big bulk of our lives.
mm,
So I think what we want to make sure we're conveying today at the highest level is it's bullshit.
mm,
And as difficult as it might be to release it, you and I have done it. I look at this body now, this perfectly imperfect body, and I think at age 55, how am I performing today?
mm,
How am I performing? Am I able to athletically perform for my sport to reach my fitness and race goals? Am I mentally and emotionally able to perform at my job, at this project that I love so much, in relationship with my community and my peers and my friends and family? Like, how am I performing?
mm,
Right. And so those are the things that I'm investing in fitness for now. Like that's why I invest in fitness, is I understand that these things are integrated.
mm,
And whatever the results are around what this body is going to look like because of the things I'm doing is kind of just a side benefit. Oh,
mm.
okay. Well, it looks pretty good because I'm taking pretty good care of it. I've got some guns right there because I've built those guns. You know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
don't obsess about how am I going to get the guns. It's just like I don't know. You know what I'm
Nice to
saying
have.
here?
Yeah, I have definitely had an up and down relationship with the shape of my body,
Yeah.
like I said, the bikini time or whatever. And like, oh, it's the start of the year. You got 6 months
Mm.
to get bikini ready. Where they sell you, on ads these days and stuff. And I'm just like, so yesterday I planted a tree in my backyard. I was telling you about this. So just want to pause this
Because
and
you're
say,
also a farmer.
well, yeah, I'm a gardener
Yeah,
farmer. Yeah.
homesteader.
Well, and the other thing that you know about me is I love newness, like variety is my thing, right? And so I think I spoke about this in another episode. I created a list of 100 new things to do, right? And plant a tree is one of them, right?
Mhm.
So yesterday I was like, this tree's getting planted today. I'm doing this, right? I was in my backyard. I mean, it's a little bit of a job to dig a hole in some hard ass yard
Yeah,
that isn't ready for a tree and like make that happen, I mean, and as I was doing it, like I literally sent the tree, I think to you and another friend. I was like, I feel like such a badass. I'm like, so I wrote down, I was like, power gardening can be a thing, right?
yeah,
Because
totally.
not, so earlier that day I did my bands, right? So like I go in and out of like, is the gym where I want to be today? Or do I want to be outside? There's an outside little workouty gymmy thing that I can go to, do some different things over there that my local community has. You know me, I've got animal flow. I can do that in my backyard, or I can do that on the floor here, right?
Totally,
Yeah,
totally.
yoga, whatever. So it's like I have this relationship to an inner dialogue with myself of what
Yeah.
what am I like? So on this weekend, after coming down from, a kind of a regenerative weekend, it's going to be pretty toasty here. And ordinarily, I'm up the tallest mountain as fast as possible, like, "Rah, rah, rah," like charge up this mountain or
Yeah.
whatever. And I checked in with myself. I'm like, oh, this is a regenerative weekend. Oh, okay. What kind of movement would I like to do? And I just went, you know what? I don't want to charge up that mountain in the heat.
Mhm.
No, that's not what I want to do. Oh, okay. Well, do you want to go on? There's another little trail that's a little more shaded, gentle. It's still a nice little workout, but it's something I was like, oh, that sounds lovely. Okay, well, there we go. We're doing that. Great. And do you want to run it or let's see how it goes? It was just like this dialogue where I wasn't forced by something outside of me for what it needs to look like or how, like some mileage or whatever. Now, there's times when I was doing Ironman earlier this year training
Mm-hmm.
for a half
Mm-hmm.
Ironman where it was very regimented. It was very prescriptive, right? And like you said, you had your heavy brick this morning in 100-degree heat. You got to knock that out. It's not always pretty or pleasant, and so there's times when I definitely challenge myself. And I actually just want to say, like, you can intersperse that into your life as well.
Exactly. We're not
Like
all David Goggins.
nobody is David, but David Goggins, which is he's a masochist when it comes to fitness and pushing your body and stuff like that. So
Yeah. I mean, there's a time and a place if you're into that, if
yeah,
you want that kind of challenge, but why? If it's not important to you, why do
and that's
that?
it.
Do other things.
And that's exactly it. Why? So
Why?
ask yourself what you need in
Mhm.
that season, in that cycle. Like some of you listening have little ones that you're caretaking, like day in and day out. You can't go do 3 hours away from home. Maybe you can't, whatever. But like, it's like that's not what you need right now in this
Mhm.
season, in this cycle that you're in, right? A 15-minute walk would be a freaking miracle and religion for you because like you get self-care and space. Do that, right? And so
Exactly.
evaluate where you are, your relationship to your body, yourself. What do you most need right now? Are you in a regenerative day or week or year? Are you in a peak athletic, rising, expanding, elevating my level of fitness to see what kind of greatness I can achieve? I'm like you, I'm in 2.0. I want to see what this body can do, or
Mhm.
are you in, what, I'm a little bit more in maintenance. I've got a lot of things going on in my life, but I want to maintain a level of well-being in my body so I can perform at work. I'm clear-headed and of sound mind in the things that I want to do. I can move up and down the stairs freely, whatever those things are. It's self-defining. It's taking back your power of giving yourself permission to choose what you need right now.
And what you're saying is speaking to one of the points I wanted to bring up is when you choose fitness as part of your lifestyle, and everybody should, by the way, because they did come to the earth with a body. Last time I checked, you were actually born and there's a body attached.
Mm, mhm,
You and I have talked about people being detached from their bodies and not
mm.
knowing what's going on inside and what things feel like, etc.
Yeah, yeah.
So, when you get back into your body and you choose fitness to be part of your life, you can choose to learn about yourself along the way. So, what you're saying is checking in with yourself, asking yourself why, etc. I have really used fitness as a way to learn about who I am in the world. Like
Mm,
it is absolutely changed who I am in so many ways, and it continues to every day. It surprises me actually.
yeah.
And so in doing regular fitness as part of my lifestyle choices, I get to explore how this body works or sometimes doesn't work, how it responds, how it does this. Hey, by the way, maybe I'm not good at that, but I could learn. Maybe I'm really good at things I had no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm capable of things, which I've obviously proven this to myself. And I continue to stretch this piece of me is like, what am I actually capable of? What
Mm,
is my potential? I have no idea.
yeah.
And anyone listening to this really has no idea.
Yeah.
Very few of us have scratched the surface even to
Yeah.
understand what we are physically capable of doing. So
Mm,
you learn and you learn and you grow and you evolve and you explore. You and
mm,
I have used fitness to go to different places. I've traveled around the freaking world with fitness. That's insane.
yeah.
And met so many people of different types. Like it's the enriching, what it
Yeah.
has given back to me is incredible. So
Yeah.
fitness has so many legs to it. I just,
As you were saying, I was thinking like a spectrum.
yeah.
It's this spectrum, and we get to choose at every phase of our life, right? Because,
Hmm. Hmm.
I think you and I would say we're in better fitness now, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, than we were 20 when we were in our 20s, right? Both of
Oh,
us, right?
absolutely.
Because we chose to or whatnot. And I'm not sitting here because I have quit a job and gone down this road. And, it's part of my life. It's not, the career path, if you will. So there's
Yeah.
a spectrum, and it's about you being selective of just like your snowflake. You
Mhm.
beautiful snowflake, you get to uniquely choose fitness that settles in with your life at this time. And by gosh, what we're wanting to say is it can serve you.
Mm,
It can only serve you if
absolutely.
you let it, not if you hold it as a punishment against yourself. The discipline of fitness, the discipline of exercise. There is another way of doing this as a gift to yourself, as an opening, as a, like you said, of curiosity, as a finding and rediscovering more about yourself. Right?
Well, it's funny you say it can serve you. It absolutely can serve you, and it can serve all of those around you and your community. And in coaching other humans, as a personal trainer, as a running coach, triathlon coach, and now life business coach, also like in coaching others, a lot of times when I have the conversation, which I always do, around what their lifestyle looks like in the health and fitness realm, so we can make sure they're well-rounded, healthy people, a lot of people, and I'm not just generalizing, but it seems to be motherly types that they have responsibilities at home as well as work. They're like, I don't know, taking time for fitness seems like a selfish act. What? And there are plenty of people, all different ages and sexes, that feel like carving out that time during the day to take care of their physical health is a selfish act.
Mm,
Can you even fathom how
yeah.
irrational that is?
Mm,
You have
yeah.
one body you are given in this one lifetime.
Mm,
So, is it selfish to carve out time to take care of your health and well being at the cost of later in your lifetime? You will become a burden financially, socially, energetically to others because you will be physically, mentally, or emotionally not well.
mhm, mhm. I have never been a mother myself, but the only experience I can say is when I see moms put themselves last, their kids are underserved by that.
Hmm.
When a
Totally.
mom puts herself and her well-being, makes it a priority, it's not every day, every moment a priority. Like, no, you can't take care of it, whatever. But like she values herself more and enough to do this for herself, a gift back to herself, the kids are better off as well.
And parenting, period. You're a role model.
Yeah.
What you have to role model for these young humans you are bringing up, and even in the work that we do now, and I know you share this philosophy too, and any of my business coaching clients will be laughing if they hear this because they have to have a fitness regimen. If you're going to
Mhm.
run a company
Yeah.
and you're going to be a boss of any sort of other humans, you have to have fitness as part of your daily and weekly routine, and then set a culture in your organization or with your team that health, wellness, and fitness are part of what we do here. It's how we all operate at a higher level. We expect great things from ourselves and each other.
Yeah.
We're doing great work in the world. So therefore, we need to be at our best.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's so fun to watch the transition with leadership in that way and see how they feel so much better. They're energized, they're empowered, and really they're like out crushing it at the gym, and they send me pictures and tell me what they're up to. And then they talk about that with their team, and they share that, and they encourage their team also to do things that make them feel good physically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of a new thing in business too that didn't used to be. I mean, it used to be, hey, don't leave that cubicle. Hey, don't be walking around outside in the fresh air getting some sunshine. Yeah, right. And now it's encouraged.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
in most environments,
We
that gives
know,
me hope. That
we
gives me
know,
hope.
yeah, we know better now. We know better now, for sure. For sure.
I want to
So,
talk about sweat therapy. So we've talked a lot about how it affects your mental and emotional well-being. And there are many books and much science. You can Google any of this stuff, but some of my favorite books on it, I think I have a couple right here actually on my bookshelf. Brain Energy is a good one.
mhm.
Okay, and that's Christopher Palmer. The Joy of Movement, Kelly McGonigal. Built to Move by the Starettes. Those are just kind of like books that are pretty popular right now or have been for several years that I'm a fan of. But in the space around how movement affects the physical body and ultimately the brain and the health of the brain, the actual health of the brain. So mental illness, but also lots of other brain diseases that manifest over people's lifetime. The mitochondria within the system of the human body is where a lot of new science is going. And it's been around forever because humans have been around for a really long time. But the science is now proven how critical the health of the mitochondria in the human body is to the health of the brain. The only way you can strengthen their energy cells within the body, and they do a lot of really complex things. The only way you can build them and strengthen them is through physical exercise.
Mm. Is there a minimum? So help people understand, like, is that, marathoning? Is that, hot yoga? Is that, riding their mountain bike for 4 hours? What is, when you say strengthen them, is there a minimum threshold, an average, just so people can get an idea of like, what are we talking about here? Like, what do the mitochondria need, or what's
Yeah,
helpful?
so they're part of the metabolic system and they exist in your body already. But over time, they age and they will become diseased or dysfunctional, basically, based on everything that's going on in your surroundings. So, your environment, what you're putting in your mouth, how you're experiencing this human experience, a lot of things will impact their health
Mhm.
or lack thereof. So, they will literally, like cells in the body do, die. So over the course of your lifetime, you will have less. Or you could be in the business of building more, and not only building more, but building the density
Mm.
and the quality of the existing ones at a higher level. So there are dosages, and nobody needs to go too crazy doing extreme things in order to reap the benefits. I mean, honestly, there's guidelines around this, but it's very, very simple for people to be moving their body for, well, in my never to be humble opinion, to be moving their body in some way, shape, or form in order to reap these benefits for 30 minutes a day. Like
Mhm.
these are the bare minimums to keep the health of the existing system. If
Yeah.
you want to increase the amount and the volume and the quality of those cells, then there are definitely higher levels of exercise. And it's a variety of things, by the way. It isn't one thing.
Yeah.
It isn't everybody should be out running. There are so many different ways to move this body and to build additional cells and to feed the health of the existing cells in the body and the brain. Pick something and
There,
just start doing it.
I vacuum my house and I break a sweat.
Let's go. And
I'm like,
honestly, I believe in variety. I mean, obviously, I'm training for triathlon right now, which is a 3-sport
yeah,
endurance sport. So right away, it's not one thing, but
yeah,
in my regular life and in your regular life beyond that,
yeah.
we like to do a variety of things. again, our brain needs to be stimulated. We need to go to new places. We need to try new things. It's how we will learn and evolve as a
Yeah.
human being. But, this, I want to keep driving back to this point of like how we explore using our bodies, this fitness world, is how we are learning as a
Mm,
human being to trust ourselves,
mm,
to know ourselves, to see what is in our internal world. I was just having a coaching session this morning with a gal that did her first sprint triathlon,
mm,
and she just cracked wide open. She had a massive cracking open as a human being during this sprint triathlon. She'd had lots of challenges and training. She has 2 businesses. She has 3 kids. She has stepkids. You name it, this woman has a lot going on in her life. But she chose to come back to her athletic self. She's in her mid 40s at this point, as a way to self invest in her wellness, in her physical and emotional health. And so by choosing a triathlon, she picked something that was big and a little scary, and open water swimming and all these things. But it was so fun to talk to her about her journey during the race itself. I wasn't able to be there and witness this. I wish I had been able to, but she was sharing with me her experience and how by the time she worked through all of the difficulties of an open
mm.
water swim was scary, getting on the bike with other people on strange roads, and then going and attempting to run. It's very difficult to run in a triathlon. By the time you get to the third sport, I mean, come on,
You're looking a
come
little
on.
silly. You're looking a little silly.
It ain't pretty. But anyway, she started crying.
Yeah.
And basically, she was by herself in her own head thinking about things and basically just cracking open emotions, thoughts, experiences, just really just blown away at what she was doing for herself and nobody else. Didn't care how fast, how slow, how ugly it was, whatever. So proud of herself and
Mm,
so like re in love with herself. And then she turned that cracking open and started to like express it out to the world. I mean, I'm telling you,
yeah.
this is what's possible in fitness. It
Mhm.
doesn't always look like that. It's going to be different for everybody,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
What I
but
what
it's
I
there.
what I want to just share in context with, so you know a lot about somatic work, right? Somatic being, your physiology, right? So the muscles, the tendons, the organs, all this stuff that's a part of your body, right? And
Yeah.
me and the hypnotherapy and my study of neuroscience and
Mhm.
whatnot, it's like your body is a representation of your emotional, I think you have 4 bodies. I've said this before: emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, whatever. And they're all like represented in your physical body, right? So the other thing I want to say is so me, I've done dozens, literally dozens of transformation workshops where I'll fly across the country for a week and I'll put myself in some extreme shit and like, what
Oh,
the
yeah.
hell? And because those such situations create massive growth, right? I've learned that through in a week, I can do like 10 years of therapy or something, whatever, massive, whatever. But
And you're
all
an efficiency expert. So that's how
I
you
am.
do
I'm like, boom, let's get this done, people. I don't have 5 years for this. I need some transformation now. But when we do these things, whether it's a triathlon, my journey on the Ironman journey and yours is,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're moving the physical body through
Mm.
processes, through one of my, and what I'm saying is we put ourselves in these scenarios, whatever that is. Oh, I'm going to go take this yoga class. I'm going to, sign up for this sprint Olympic try, whatever. I'm going to try a new walk. I'm going to hike a hill or whatever, play tennis with my partner, whatever.
Climb a mountain.
Yeah, there's a journey in that of
Mm.
something you're going to learn if you're paying attention, right?
Mhm.
If you open up the doorway to let your body teach you, let your body also be a part of it, not just like, oh, I'm going to mentally think about, I've got to get, in shape, like you were talking about, like I want to lose weight and whatever. The body's just along for the ride. No, 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 no. If you open up that doorway and that communication like she did, she put herself through these weeks, months of training, goes to that event. it's a gateway to her to, like you said, and like you said, it's not everything or whatever, but if you can allow yourself on the fitness journey to open up the conversation with your body in whatever way, any of your body. So I'll give you an example. I was in the swimming portion in a pool of my Ironman earlier this year. And I can remember, and I do these early morning 6 a.m. swims, just kind of monotonous. It's very kind of meditative. I mean, in the beginning, it was clunky, but you get a little bit of routine. You get past that clunky, awkward, can't breathe, can't, all that, so these damn goggles, whatever.
Exactly.
Towards the end, let's say it that way, towards the end of my growth in that, I kind of got in a little groove and it was just swimming, swimming, swimming. And I remember looking down in the pool and, the lights and the water is pretty, how it kind of trickles on the underside of the pool. And, I'm not really, I'm not there for anybody. It's just me and whatever. And all of a sudden, I just like kind of like her, like had this spiritual drop in from my future self that was like
Mhm.
so beautiful. A message like, we're so proud of you.
Mhm.
Like, you're doing this now. In 40 years, you probably won't be able to do this. Maybe you can, but you're in it. Like, appreciate it, respect it. And my heart just, it was a whole nother level of that swimming pool. It was like, what the hell? Like, I just went there to swim that morning. You never know. And somatic is such a part or access for us.
So
Right?
I believe that you gained access to that deeper self through the physical motion.
Mhm.
And I'm a fan of endurance sports because there's a lot of time invested in doing the physical motion. And so to me, I view it as a peeling back of the layers of the external and the artificial and the preconceived and the limiting beliefs and the society and all the things through the miles, if you will, or the hours or the minutes or whatever you're doing, the swim strokes, you're peeling back those layers that are no longer serving you until you get to the core of the actual you. I love, love, love endurance sports for this reason,
Mhm.
and intentionally pick crazy ass things like that where you have to do something for a really long time, ideally moving through nature, because again, you're in a different space. It
Yeah.
has a different energy to it. It really just cracks you open, peels back these layers to clearly release and connect you with your best self, which has nothing to do with how fast or slow you're going,
Mhm.
what the hell the swimsuit looks like on you, what the hell you're wearing, what other people are thinking.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, can you even think? I mean, to me, it's like the most incredibly valuable experience we can have as a human being is to get that access,
Mm, mm.
to be in touch with that self.
I hope we're definitely, if I were listening to this, I'd be like, that's a pretty good sales job for some fitness. I
I
might be,
better
I
do
might
that. I better sign up for some fitness. Sign up for some
And
fitness.
and the other thing we're gonna talk in a future episode, experiments in solitude, because that's, I think, another layer of this, of where
Yeah.
fitness is an access to all of yourselves, if you will. And so
Yeah.
is solitude, because some of that swimming was very solitude. It was me and my mind and my whatever. I wasn't having a conversation with anybody. I wasn't like, checking out the car in front of me, traffic, whatever. It was like kind of a solitude moment, if you will. So
You know what I want to talk about is what fitness isn't,
mm,
real quick, because
yeah.
you made me think of something. I was on a long run this weekend and I shared with you all the many conversations Samantha had with Samantha. Sam and Sam were having a little chat for many, many hours.
Right.
But what it isn't is other people's ideas about what our workout should look like.
Yeah.
So, and this is coming from a coach, and I was a personal trainer and a coach for many, many years. Nobody else gets to decide what your workout should look like. So,
Mhm.
if you're going to a class, a group fitness class, and that person is telling you how things should look and feel, take a moment to
Check
step
in.
back and
Check in.
get back connected with the self. Make that workout. You're there for you. You're not
Mhm.
there to perform for the group or for that coach,
Mhm.
ever. Additionally, if you are a metrics freak and you are living by a watch that's telling
Mhm.
you your pace and it has to look like this, or I have structured training programs and you had one for Ironman, right? Like I don't have to hit certain metrics and do this a certain way in order for this to be a good or a bad labeled by some external force workout, or even by my own self-limiting beliefs and crazy ideas.
Yeah.
Right? A good workout is, how did it feel? How did it feel? Did it feel good? Was I feeling good? Did I work through some things? What did I learn?
Mhm.
Was there growth in there? Was there some progress in there? Not how fast was I? Did it, how did it compare to this person or that person? Like all of those kind of things, in my never to be humble opinion, are the death nail of fitness. They stop people from showing up. The judgment and the competitiveness and the ideas around how things should be. This athlete I'll just refer back to, who did the sprint triathlon, of course, she got off the bike and she couldn't really run. Her legs were just hammered, right? And she's like, huh? What? Right? And so her whole mental game shifted, like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to finish this?
Yeah.
I don't think I can finish this, right? So she started, the
Yeah.
evil twin showed up real fast, all that. And she had to work through that and transition her way back into moving at the pace she could comfortably move and breathe at,
Yeah.
and just moving forward. And if
Yeah.
that meant some walking, it meant some walking. Who cares?
Mhm.
Why are we doing these things? Who are we doing them for? It's so important to be connected to those whys. And we're not there. Most of us are not going to be in the Olympics.
Mhm.
We're not going to be at the top of the podium. If that's your goal, great, wonderful. But for the majority of us, we're there to feel good in our lives.
Mhm.
And that just gives us a lot of freedom to do it however we want, really.
Yeah, I really think, turn it around into fitness can be fun. It
It
can
must
be
be fun.
it can be free,
Mhm.
it can be just whatever feels good to you. Like you said, so if 15 minutes of walking a day is max effort for you right now, check that but like I am fucking
Lovey,
winning.
my
Yeah.
brother who is in cancer treatment, and you're aware of that, I go visit him, we spend time, and he can do 1 to 2 laps walking around his local park. This is my very fit, competitive cyclist, studly fit brother. But because he is currently under treatment, this is what his fitness looks like.
Mhm.
And he can't do that every day at this moment, but
Mhm.
that's what he can do.
Mhm.
And so it's taking whatever is real
Mhm.
and using what's available at that moment and
Mhm.
what is reasonable and what you
Mhm.
can accommodate. Maybe you don't have the money to invest in a gym. Maybe you can't afford a bike or the sport of triathlon. Find what your thing is. Go to your local park. Remember the guy we saw when you and I were riding here together, who was doing a full-on beast mode Spartan workout in the park with
On
his
his
own.
own, to himself.
We were
Yeah.
like, that's our, who's he?
What are
Our
you
new
doing
best
to your
friends.
this was New Year's Day. I was like, good
Oh, it
God,
was,
man.
huh?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
New Year's Day. And he's out there. We're like, okay, you're clearly like,
So
yeah. So
I love, love, love. Okay. And one more thing I want to say before we start to wrap it up is, on that note, everybody belongs here in
yeah,
fitness.
yeah. The spectrum is wide and it's for you to choose. The door is wide open of what fitness looks like, feels like, is for you.
Everybody belongs there. Like, CrossFit isn't just for the people who are already good at CrossFit. I mean, everybody walked in the door not being able to do CrossFit because everybody learned it somehow, right? By going to CrossFit 3 times a week and then 5 times a week or whatever they did until they got good at CrossFit. That's
Becoming
the
a
same
morning person was
winning.
yeah. Yeah, I became a morning person, not by being a morning person the day before that, but I've started that path, right?
I didn't even know how to swim when I started triathlon.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
I'm
still kind of
swimming
didn't know.
2.4 miles in the open water before I even get on the bike. What in the hell am I doing? But I literally didn't even know how to swim. So what?
Yeah.
Be willing to be brave because you're doing it
Yeah.
for yourself, and just show up
Yeah.
and be horrible at things and
Yeah.
laugh a lot and
You know,
laugh a lot.
and I would say, like, one of the things I wanted to just insert today is like, where am I at today is very different from where I was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And
Sister, yes.
zero judgment. I was gonna laugh with the story that you were telling about, the Chubby Club and donuts and ho-hos after Jim Richard Simmons and Jane Fonda. That just kills me just thinking about that. I can remember in my 20s, wherever this idea, this is kind of where my brain was in the state of what I understood about fitness and was being consuming at the time was go to the gym and get on the Stairmaster for 30 Stairmaster? No, or treadmill or Stairmaster, cardio. It was all
Or the
cardio.
ellipticals. Remember these?
Yeah, elliptical cardio Stairmaster. No rowing. There's no rowing. Yeah. 30 minutes, get a good sweat on. I would walk past all of the weights. I was like, that's a guy thing. I was like, oh, this weightlifting thing, that's for guys, whatever. And and so I'd do a workout and I'd go eat a bagel and a Jamba Juice, which is like a big fruity juice, whatever, having no idea, thought that that was healthy, a bagel and Jamba Juice. I was like, oh yeah, got my bagel and my Jamba Juice, totally upside down, all of that from what I have learned today, right? So that's where I was in my 20s. Now it's very different. It's very different. I go right to all the weights. I go to anything
We
that
love
look,
carbs, though. Let me just say, we're not carb shaming.
yeah,
They have a time and a place, and we're going to do a whole episode on food. So we're not carb
yeah,
shaming
yeah, yeah,
here,
yeah. We're coming
but it's
back.
the reality of like back in the day.
Yeah,
I love to use that term, back in the day. What that looked like was just different,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because you were at the on ramp
Mm-hmm.
of becoming somebody who cared about health and fitness. So you had all your ideas that, came with you
Yeah.
in the backpack that you were dragging along.
Being
And
fed,
very slow by slow.
consuming what was, on the TV and other people, and not like you did a wonderful deep dive into holistic studies and becoming a trainer and stuff like that. I didn't go that route. It just was kind of a
Mm.
self-discovery, running all these 10Ks and whatever. Wasn't really getting fit, it was fun. It was like, oh, I like these races, whatever, kind of curious. Then I started to eventually get more like I wanted a challenge for myself. And I was like, oh, I wonder if I could do a trail race. Oh, wow, and then I did kind of poorly in one. I was like, wonder if I could do better the next one, right? And then I took second place in my age group. I was like, wow, well, I can do these trail races things if I, learn about them stuff, and then the Spartan race was just kind of inspired by variety. I was like, I've been running for so long. I was like, well, that's different, and my friend had
Yeah.
done a Tough Mudder and she talked about Tough Mudder and I did one of those and perked up my ears when somebody said, well, if you like Tough Mudder, you should try Spartan. This was back before Spartan wasn't like global or whatever. And I was like, what the hell is that? I'm doing that, like, yeah, like, of course I'm doing that. Right. And then
Of course.
off I go into that world for 5, 7 years, whatever, like coming, winning rate, all that stuff. And there's just, and then adventure races, getting introduced to that. Oh,
The
so
reason that medals
mm,
are so damn fun
mm,
is not because, I mean, these are in my office.
yeah,
Each one of these represents a journey, a
yeah,
chapter.
yeah.
You're talking about chapters of your life that make you who you are today. The
Mhm,
building blocks of the Polly sitting in front of me, of the
mhm,
Sam in the mirror.
mm.
Those chapters, those experiences, those journeys, each one of those is represented in these experiences, a commitment to self, learning, evolving, trying, failing. I
Mm,
mean, failing fabulously, love
mm,
failing,
mm, mm.
are so incredibly invaluable. I mean, unreal.
And I think one of the things that you and I have recognized that we share is a core value of well-being. I'll call it
Mm,
well-being,
hmm.
translate that to fitness, emotional health, whatever. So like
Yeah.
we have a core value. Obviously, it's in the name of our tagline, how you feel in this body is important. So we invest in time and energy into that exploration. We're not
Yeah.
the richest people, here to help you make the most amount of money or, get the best looking house on the block or whatever it is. It's
Add
like,
to your purse or shoe collection. We're not doing that.
yeah, yeah, and that's all fine and great. I'm just saying, my wake up call was when I was at a Tony Robbins thing, and he was like, the foundation of your pyramid is health. And I was like, really? What if I started looking at it that way? What would that look like?
Mhm.
Foundation is health, well, and then I like had cycles of understanding how that for me was a hell yes. I was like, that's fucking, there's a beautiful line that I quote to people who get off track and get into, the hospital beds or whatever. It's like, a man or woman, a man who has his health has many dreams.
Mm,
A man who doesn't have his health has but one, right? When we don't have our health, all we want is our health. But when we have our health, we can have anything we want after that,
mhm,
right? And
mhm,
like simplify that to that's one of my foundational beliefs is I take good care of my body, my well-being, because everything else is accessible to me. You know this when you don't feel well or you get COVID or you get sick or something like that. A lot of the doors to access to things that you want to do get shut down, right?
mhm,
But if you're
mhm.
feeling well, you're feeling good in your body, I can plant a tree. Oh my God, I planted a tree for myself yesterday. Like first I was like, I should go to the neighbor young man. He can help me dig this out. And then I went, what the hell? I was like, yeah, I could do that, but years ago, it was hard digging. I'm not saying
Yeah.
everybody dig a tree, but like the amount of like, oh, like you said, she felt so good after running her race. I was like, oh,
Yes.
pounding on my own chest. Like, girl,
Yes.
look at you.
Yes.
I can plant a rose and I can plant a tree. And what else could I do? I was like, I'm gonna power
Exactly.
garden this summer. What else can I do?
Exactly. Exactly.
Get out there.
All of those building blocks go on into the rest of your world. We should probably wrap this thing up. What do we want to tell people, huh?
Well, what's our one thing? What do you want to entertain
Ooh.
them with a question or something to leave them with? They had just one thing that they got out of this entire session today and they're listening.
For me, the one thing, the most important thing, especially being a professional in the space for all this time and having my own personal journey, and those two things being so linked, is that it's a building of you.
Mm,
I'm building me, the best version of myself, mentally, physically, emotionally. That's fitness to me. Anyone
mm,
listening is building them,
mm, mm,
build their best selves, whatever that looks like, however they want to do it, whatever that feels like for however long, et cetera, is their choice. And we want to really empower them to choose that way, the
mm,
way to their best self.
mm. Yeah.
And
And
there's
and it
no wrong way.
there's no wrong way and allow it to evolve, allow it to be what it is right now. Could be different, your brother's situation, having some setbacks in his health. This is what it looks like right now. And then next month it could look different, and next week it could look different after that, and so on and so on. And you define it. I love it. I love it. This has been so fun. Well, and I know we're going to talk about the food because that's like probably people in the background like, okay, we're talking
Part
about this,
B.
yeah, fitness, exercise, and stuff. What about the food? Okay, well, we're going to be
Yeah.
talking about that, so stay tuned. Stay tuned. But what do we want to remind our beautiful humans about their lives that we always tell them as we wrap? She's being playful. You guys can't see her, but no, you can hear her.
Screwing around.
Yeah.
How your life feels is more important than how it looks.
And every day is your opportunity to find your awesome.
And I'll add